Now, the next tool I'm going to talk about is IXL. IXL is a drill and practice tool with amazing analytics. But before we get into the analytics, let me just give you a brief information about it. IXL is aligned to the Georgia Standards of Excellence. Again, I'm focusing on math, but IXL has all four contents: language arts, math, science, social studies, and recently they've added Spanish. They're aligned to our standards. I'm looking at math again. They're picking high school because that's what I know well. They have all of your courses that's in high school, and then they have the standards by their main domain. So I'm going to just click on one. And here they're asking me to simplify square root of 75. Well, I'm just putting it in there wrong. The answer was 5 square root of 3. And then they give me an explanation. They try to get me to remember a fact or a rule or a property, and then they go through the steps on how to solve it. To ask me, do I got it? And they tend to give me something a little simpler the next go around. So this go around, I'm gonna try to do it right. Try to see if I know my radicals. Yay, I got it correct. So now my score went up to 10 and I've answered 2 questions. And you keep doing that process until you get up to 100, or as I tell my students, you get to the grade that you like. So some of my students will stop once they reach 70 or 75 or 80. But a lot of my kids try to get to at least 90 because they can go all the way up to 100. Now, let's look at these analytics that I told you are amazing. The very first thing you can do is give a diagnostic test. I, in the past, have not given diagnostic tests because I'm really more concerned on what they have currently. So I skipped the diagnostic test. But if you did the diagnostic test, it breaks down where the students are in numbers and operations, algebra, fractions, if you're at your lower grade levels, geometry, and statistics. Now, this is the real time center. I love this. It gives me a snapshot of the big picture of my class. So in this example, you can see how many students are practicing, how many is idle, if a child needs help, and then I can click on there and see what that child is and what area that they are stuck, how many skills have been practiced since we've been on it right now, and then how many questions have been answered in the last hour. Then underneath it is my activity wall. So every student, so again, I have these 7 students, is listing all 7 students, and it's telling me what standard they're working on, their current grade on that particular standard, and how they've answered the last 5 questions and the total number of questions they have. Now, the trouble spots. The trouble spot sheet is a good way for you to break your students up into small groups because they have them grouped based on areas they're stuck. So in this particular class, it's showing these 7 students are having an issue with understanding parentheses. So as a teacher, I can pull those 7 aside, have them come to me, or I go to them, get us in a group, and I can clear up whatever misconceptions they have about parentheses and then release them back into onto their computers. Trouble spots does not shut down what the students are doing. It's just alerting you as the teacher that, hey, you have several students having an issue with this particular thing. This progress and improvement, this is your students' individualized reports. So this student Meredith, this is all the standards that she's practiced. It tells me each standard, how much time she spent on the standard, how many questions she answered, and what's her score. So as a teacher, I can draw some conclusions from there. Did you answer a whole bunch of questions and your grade is not that high? Then this area still might need some work. And then this last sheet here is an overview of what my students have done in the last 30 days. How many questions this particular class have answered, how much time as a class they've practiced, how many skills have they made progress in. This graph down here, it tells me the time between at home and at school. And this is telling me the categories of what they've used. So the benefits of IXL is a great way for students to review basic skills needs for more robust problems. It has analytics that are amazing that we can use for grouping, remediation, and recommendations for students to review. And then students are able to move at their own pace to receive the remediation that is needed. So the similarities between Edpuzzle and IXL, the data obtained from the tool can be utilized to create small groups in differentiation. All core content can use both of these tools. Then some of the differences, Edpuzzle is free where IXL has a cost associated with it. Edpuzzle is video based with teachers creating the questions. IXL is not video based, it's DOK 1 or 2 skill level questions, and all of the questions are made. Edpuzzle has multiple choice and free response questions, whereas IXL only has short answer only questions. How can these tools be used in your everyday instruction? Teachers are able to use it to provide interventions, to provide extensions, and to provide independent work and different lessons for students. Teachers can create small groupings based on the results that they see in the data, and students are empowered to work at their own pace. So all three of those are ways to use it for either one of the programs. I have personal experience with IXL. For IXL, I use it as homework assignments for students to work on their lower level skills. So the time that they have with me, we can use that time applying the skills with real world problems and doing those higher order application synthesizing problems. Puzzle, from what I'm seeing, is a great way for a great way to access students, to assess the students, um, and see what they gain from those videos. It can be used as a flipped classroom model, a remediation, acceleration, and student peer tutoring, teaching. I've had teacher friends who have used Edpuzzle and they've loved it. So I'm encouraging you all to go out there and try either one of those tools and come back and let me know your thoughts. Thank you.